Welcome to the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce News and Views show. I'm your host, Diane Sawyer, President and CEO of the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce. Today's edition, we have a Meet the Ambassador segment. So welcome to our guest, Abigail Carter.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited because I just love your story. One of the things that we, I guess, joke about is now we've had 3 ribbon cuttings.
3 indeed.
With
yes.
the chamber. So I wanted to talk about I wanted to have you on the show to talk about all the things. Like, we've never sat down and just talked about, and especially now, because I am so proud of like what you've done, and you just never seem to stop, and there may be more on the horizon. We just never know. So let's start out with, you cracked a joke this week. We were talking about, I don't remember. We were talking about, I was trying to pick out one of my 50 million delicious $50 worth of treats because I never spend less than that when I'm in there.
Right, that's great.
So I was in there and you said to me, I didn't watch, it's Shark Week. We were talking about shark heads. We were talking about Moana, and you were like, I don't watch, and I'm like, most people who don't have kids yet or don't have kids or what don't. But we made a Moana reference, and you said, even as a kid, I didn't watch TV.
No.
And I was like, that makes so much sense to me because you were a teenage entrepreneur. Like, it is insane to me. I think you've always been an adult and an old soul in a little person's body, like when you were even, yay high. So
absolutely.
Tell us about like your first memories of wanting that for yourself, of wanting to bake, of wanting to then suddenly own your own business.
Yeah, well, I grew up with parents that were entrepreneurs, so the apple really doesn't fall far from the tree. And to this day, they both still work for themselves. So I never really thought that I could have a career as a baker per se. Because I always joke and I tell people, like, it's really funny because when Pinterest became like a big thing, I had a board on there that said Future Bakery. I didn't think that was like an actual thing, like I was just like, oh, that would be something cool, like a hobby. Because, that's what most people tend to do with things they like to do. It's just a hobby. They don't ever really turn it into a career. And so, I was like, it'll just be my hobby. It's, like, I'm okay with it being my hobby. I'll figure out something else to do, I almost joined Moorhead High's nursing program, like, I was like, I think I'm going to go into the medical field, be a respiratory therapist or a nurse or something like that. And then when I was 16, I got my first job, actually my second job at a bakery in Wentworth, and they called us up one day and said, hey, we're going out of town, like we're leaving, we're moving, and we're closing the bakery. Well, it shattered my heart. I loved it so much. I mean, I fell right into it. It really just engulfed my life at that point. Like, I loved it so much. And I mean, I'd seen my mom and my Nana decorate cakes and bake all of our birthday cakes and do all of that. And they did multiple people's weddings and all of that when I was a kid. But it was just a hobby for them. It was not a career for them. So that was like, I don't know that that's, a thing. Lo and behold, it is. And so after they called us and said that, I was like, hey, I talked to my parents, of course, because at that time I was 17. And so I talked to them and I was like, hey, if you will help me make this initial investment, I promise I will give it my all. I will do everything I can to make it a success. Like, I will work as many hours as I need to, to pay you back for what you invest in it, and to also, help the business run, and I'll do whatever it takes because this is what I want to do. And so, we did that, and I taught myself everything up until that point. I had recipes from my great-grandmother and things like that, but most everything I had done, I taught myself. I taught myself how to decorate cakes. I would sit there in front of it and do it and scrape it off, do it and scrape it off, do it and scrape it off, over and over and over. And so I felt like I got to a point where, I think I've taught myself everything I can actually teach myself without having somebody there with me that has done this for a really long time that can physically teach me more. And so we decided to sell, and that was in it was August of 2019. And for a while I was going to New York City. I was gonna, go to the big city and go to culinary school there. And then, I'm a small town girl through and through. It is who I am, and I have accepted that I will always be that way, which is nothing bad about that. But I feel like when you grow up, everybody's like, move away and do stuff and yada, yada, yada. But so I moved away for just a few short years, and then I was like, I went to culinary school, I had the time of my life, met Kendall, who actually works with me now and is in the kitchen with me and relocated his whole life to Reidsville, which is amazing, and he loves it here. But yeah, so went to culinary school, did that, graduated, tried out a few different avenues, did quite a few different stages, which is kind of like a culinary internship is kind of what that is. Arizona, Asheville, Savannah. We traveled around to try to find the right fit, and I just really couldn't find the one that was right for me. It was never that hometown feel that I love, So came back here, worked for a bakery in Greensboro for a little while, really enjoyed that, and I was like, I think the bakery thing is, that's my jam. Then another job popped up, so we took that, and then I was like, nah, I don't think that's it either, and so now here we are. We are 3 years into the food truck and almost 5 months into the storefront. So it has been quite the journey to get here, but it's been an amazing one nonetheless. Like it's had its valleys, it's had its highs, but it's been good. It's been really good.
Well, I like how we were going along and we were telling everything, and then we just sped through the best part. I'm like, let's talk about how did you come up with a food truck thing?
Well, it's kind of funny because not a lot of people know this actually. So my uncle is an avid lover of my cheesecake. Avid lover. And so one night, they were over at the house, my aunt and uncle, and we were just kind of, just sitting around talking, and he was like, Abby, you should do a food truck, but with your cheesecake. That would be so cool. No one around here does that. And I'm like, haha, yeah, that'd be so cool. Didn't really give it a whole lot of thought. I was just like, yeah, that would be kind of cool. I mean, a lot of people don't do food trucks around here. So, but then, I got into a rut with the job that I was in, and I was like, you know what, that idea kind of sounds great. And so on a whim, I came home one day and I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to go purchase a trailer. I would love for you to come with me, but if you can't, that's okay. I'm going to go do it. Because that's me. That is so me. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I will find a way. I will do everything possible to make sure that what I want to do I'm able to do it. So I said, hey, I'm going to go purchase this trailer. And he's blindsided by this idea because he's like, what? Where did this come from? And I'm like, 6 months ago we talked about it. We were sitting on the couch and we talked about it, and we all just kind of blew the idea off and didn't really think much else of it. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I have logistically worked through the idea, privately. I think I know what I'm doing, but I really hadn't expressed to many other people hey, this is what I'm doing, And so when I came up to him and I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing this afternoon, I'm going to buy a trailer, he was like, what, Abby? You, what? And he's like, let's recap here for a second. Yes, I will go with you, but what is your plan? How are you outfitting this? What's going on, So, as we're driving, because we bought it from Rumley over on 29, so we got a little bit of a 20-minute drive. So I'm explaining everything. I'm like, this is what we're going to do, and this is what I need in it. I've already looked up all the rules and regulations. I have already laid it out on a piece of graph paper. Like, it is ready. Like, all I need, and I'm very fortunate, my dad's a contractor, so all I need is him to install everything. And I'm like, let's do it. So we get the trailer, and he is on board. He is like full-fledged, like, let's do it. If you want to make it, if you want to do this, I'll help you put everything in there you need to put in there. So we did that and outfitted it in about, I think it took him about 2 weeks to outfit everything. And of course, we've made modifications here and there because, my idea didn't go quite as planned as some stages. But it took him about 2 weeks, and that was April of 2021, I believe, is when I did my first food truck event. And we've just been literally rolling since then. It's been fun, and I never thought I would make a living running a food truck, but it has honestly been great. And I've met so many amazing people through it too. And it's just like every different town you go to, you meet people, and then they follow along with your journey, and then it's just really fun. It really is. So that's a long answer to your short question, but
that's what I wanted though. So I have all the questions because surprisingly, I've just learned several things that even I didn't know in all of our conversations.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, let's talk about, I do have one random question. Like, what's the furthest you've been in the food truck for an event?
I want to say Charlotte.
Okay.
So the furthest we went is Charlotte. Yeah. So.
And where did the name the Boardwalk Baker come from?
Well, that's also another long story. So it started as a blog. So when I sold Aspen in Wentworth, all of my people that, these are people that had come in and purchased goods from me for 2 years. These are people that had come in and cried to me because their grandmother was in the hospital dying.
Yeah.
Or come in and ask me how I was doing, and I broke down, and they were there for me. So these people had invested their lives in me and in me and theirs. And so they were like, how do we keep up with you? Like, where do we find what you're doing? We want to know all about it. We want to know what's going on. So, I toyed around with the idea. I was like, do I create a blog? Do I not? Like, do they really want to know? Or are they just kind of saying that, And so I was like, you know what? We're going to do it. So I created it as a blog, and we just did theboardwalkbaker.com, and it's still up to this day, so you can go read about the whole entire journey if you want to. But I just kind of started writing through what was going on in my life. I didn't live here anymore. I moved to Myrtle Beach, and so I was just kind of writing through what I was doing, how culinary school was going, what we were making, what I was learning, some of the epic fails, some of the really good highs. We just started it as a blog, and then that's who I became known as, Abigail, the Boardwalk Baker. So I kept it. I was like, everybody's already familiar with it. I already have the website. It's got my whole journey on there. Mm-hmm. Let's just keep it and roll with it. And it's a great conversation starter because people automatically assume I'm from the beach because they're like, why would a Boardwalk Baker be here? We are nowhere near the coast. And so it's a great conversation starter with people. And they always ask me, well, where'd you get the name? And so I tell them about culinary school and all of that. And so it's
which was culinary school that wasn't supposed to be because you were supposed to be
right
in New York City, and then you were supposed so like all the things.
Fun fact: the blog actually started out as a slice of Manhattan. That was the first.
Wow.
That was the first blog because I had actually decided I would create the blog before I moved, and so because I wanted to document, the whole process of me going, because I visited New York City probably 6 times in that 1 year just to try to get everything in line. And so I wanted to document that whole process, not even for just people to read, but for me to look back on and see where I came from, and how we got to where we are today. And so it started off as a sliceofmanhattan.com. And so after a while, I was like, I'm not going to New York. What do we change it to now? So then it became the Boardwalk Baker. And for a while, the domain hadn't changed yet. And so you would type in the boardwalkbaker.com and it would bring you to the Boardwalk Baker, but it would pop up a slice of Manhattan. But yeah, it took it a little while to change. And so it's always kind of like bittersweet, but I'm fully confident I made the right decision to go to International Culinary Institute in Myrtle Beach instead.
Like Sex and the City goes to the beach.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
Like, it's so crazy.
Yes.
How that all happened. And for me, so I just remember being starstruck, like totally amazed at you being across the street at school and like coming back across the street to the bakery and like the back and forth and what you were doing and the hours you were keeping and like just blown away by what you were doing and who you were at such a young age. And it's just been so inspiring to watch your whole story unfold.
Yeah, I think back on it now and I could never do that again. There were nights, because I was at early college, and that last semester I was ready to be done with high school. I was like, the program is 5 years, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it in 4. And then that last semester, I was like, you know what? We're doing it in 3.5. I'm getting out of here. Like, I've got a business to run, So we jammed in 19 credit hours in the fall semester of 2017, I think it was. And that was probably the roughest 6 months, but I would get up. I would get up at 3:00 in the morning or so, go and open the bakery, get everything done for the bakery, open the bakery. Somebody would come relieve me, and then I would go to school, and then I would come back. And then when I got home that night, or those nights, I would spend a lot of hours doing classwork. And so there would be some nights that I never slept. Like, I would wake up and I'd still be on the couch, or I would get up, or my parents would get up and I'd still be on the couch doing schoolwork from the night before, just to get on through it, And so it was not easy, and I could not do that now. There's no way that I could pull all-nighters like that. Yes, no. I can get up at 3 a.m. I can still do that, but I need at least 5 hours of sleep. Like, I can't do the all-nighters anymore. But
something special about being a teenager.
Yeah, it's you don't even think about sleep. It's just life. You're just living life, like full steam ahead. And definitely could not do that now. But we did it then, and it helped me get where I am today. So I'm proud of that version of me for doing that. But we will not do that again, because that was a lot.
Never say never, though. Never say never, Abby.
That is true. That is very true. It's not in the plans.
It's not in the plans.
However, as I said before, I'll do whatever I need to make the dream happen. But it's definitely not my ideal plan to pull all-nighters anymore. But if it happens, it happens,
Well, that brings us to, you started looking for a storefront.
Yeah.
So then what happened?
Well, it's just a long story with my journey, if you haven't gathered that one. I had kind of said, this is just to me. I hadn't verbalized this to anybody. I had said, it'd be really cool, Abby, if we could do a storefront by 2024.
Okay, but I'm going to stop you right there. You might have said that to yourself, but we were all saying
Right.
We were all saying
right. Everybody was hoping it. Yeah.
It'd be really cool if you had a storefront.
Right.
Okay, just to be clear on that.
Yes, everybody was really hoping, but I was like, I'm not gonna. If it happens, it happens. That's kind of my motto in life. If it's meant to be, it'll be. If not, if the door opens, great. I'm not gonna try to pry it open. And so I kind of said, this was probably a year into the food truck. I had said, a storefront by 2024 would be awesome. And so, the end of 2023 came around, and I was like, I just don't think the time's right. I'm very comfortable doing what I'm doing right now. I'm making money. Everybody loves the business. We're traveling. We're meeting new people. my bills are paid. I am satisfied with life right now. And life had another thing coming for me. And so I was like, we're going into 2024. I don't have a storefront. It's whatever. It's not like I put this goal out there to all the people and I failed at it, And then I was like, 2024 came to be. And my best friend, we always joke, but she is really great at manifesting things. Like, she can put it out into the world and it happens. Like, it is crazy. And so I texted her and I was like, hey, I need you to manifest a storefront because I'm running out of room. We were coming up on Valentine's Day, and which is,
oh, I remember this.
Which is just a lot.
It is a lot
for the bakery industry. And my kitchen was so small. It was a 16 by 16. You had one little path to walk through, and that was it. And you couldn't really fit anybody else in there to work with you. And so it's not like I could call on other people and say, hey, I need you to come work for me, because there was literally no room. And so I texted her and I said, I don't know what kind of manifestation powers you have, but I need you to put out into the universe that I need a bigger kitchen. I need a storefront, or I need a bigger kitchen. One or the other, or two in one. Whatever it is, whatever it happens to be. I kid you not, Diane. 3 days later, because I went back and looked at our text message records. 3 days later, I met with Robin, and Robin was like, there's this place downtown that just came available. They just put the sign up on the door. You should just kind of walk down there and look at it. And, well, at the time, I had something else planned for the day. So I said, okay, well, I've got an errand to run. I'll come back and look at it. So I went and ran my errands, and I almost didn't come back. I almost was like, it's just, I'll get the phone number later, and I'll call. But something said, no, Abby, go park your car and go look at the building. And I said, okay, I'll go look at the building. So I did that, and I'm looking in the building, trying to see, and I'm just already envisioning everything. And I'm like, this is a blank canvas. This is great. The floor looks great. The ceiling looks great. Everything is great. And up behind me, I hear a lady, and she said, are you interested in this building? And I turn around, and it's my landlord, my now landlord. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, well, come inside and let me take you on a tour. Let's talk, And it has been a piece of cake since then, literally. It was like a week later, I got the keys and filed for all the permits and did all the things, and we remodeled a little bit in there and put up a wall and moved the kitchen in, and here we are. But it really just, it lined up exactly how it was supposed to be, and it's been going that way ever since.
I was listening to you talk, and I was thinking about the timeline of things, and it's funny because I don't think you were ever meant to be just in the truck, or just because while you were traveling and meeting all the people, like you said, it was a small space and people couldn't come work and support. You're up to how many employees now?
We have 6 now.
Yeah. So you're up to 6 employees.
Yes.
And I think about how you were trying to be involved downtown, how you were trying to be involved in the chamber, but because you were on the truck and because there were things that you were trying to do, it just never allowed. And it's like you have flourished so much since opening your storefront, which leads us to meet the ambassador. So one of your big committees that you helped me with, that you're involved in, well, there's 2 things, but the big thing is the Shop Small Business Saturday. And so we have been talking for at least 2 years about ideas and things to make that a little more popular, because the whole idea behind Shop Small Business is that small town, support your neighbors, support
Right.
your community feel. And you're so creative and you have so many ideas. And so it's funny because all this started happening at the same time, and you would come in, almost makes me feel like flour across your face, okay, I'm here, guys, I'm here, and you're bright-eyed and you're bushy-tailed, but you're so tired because you're doing all the things. but you're still giving, and you're still like giving of yourself, and you still have these ideas because you have this vision of what's going to happen downtown and what's going to happen in Reidsville and what you see coming.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, and I'm like, and so it's been really energizing for me because this is our first year, and a lot of people don't realize this. I am celebrating this week, actually, coming up. I'm celebrating 13 years at the chamber.
Wow.
And in
That's
13
awesome.
years, this is the first time that 100% of our committees are meeting. And so, like, it's been a goal of mine for so long, like, to get to a place where we had this great board and these great ambassadors, and we were meeting as committees. And I was just telling our awesome board member Roy with Rockingham Update, who helps us record these shows, how this is normally a really slow time for us, but it's been so busy because we're actually on time
Right.
and ahead of the game, but really we're just on time
Right.
because of the way things roll through here and the holidays. And so I am so excited, A, to have you as a neighbor, B, to have you as an ambassador, and just like to see, see what I did there, to see what you have accomplished, but what you've got so much ahead of you. And like the story has been long, but it's not over yet. And there's going to be so much more to come, and it's exciting. And I am amazed at like how at such a young age, and like you have said, I don't have time for social media. I'm young and I could do it, but I've got a social media girl, and she's doing my social media and she's rocking it. Like, she is killing the social media game. And so it's just been so cool to see, like, as you needed things along the way, like how you've made that happen.
Yeah, it's I definitely don't have time for social media. I'm not that person, you know, like it's not my thing. But you know, I realized that everybody has strengths and everybody has weaknesses, and I can flourish best when I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. Just like Kendall can flourish best when he's doing what he's meant to be doing. And Patricia, she's the one that does my social media. She loves it and she is flourishing at it. You know, that's not my cup of tea, you know? And so I've just really decided that even if it costs me a little bit, you know, it's okay to delegate things to people. It's okay to say, hey, I need someone to do this. It is not my strength. It is not my strong suit, you know. And it's okay to let other people come along in the dream and really help it grow. You know, it's not all about me. I know I am the face of the Boardwalk Baker, but I can't be the Boardwalk Baker without having all of these other people, these 6 individuals that help make the Boardwalk Baker what it is. You know, it's not just about me. It's about all these other people that have phenomenal strengths, you know, and that are able to equally invest in the dream. And I'm very fortunate that they have equally invested in the dream as well.
Yeah, you got an amazing team.
I am very blessed, very blessed. They are all like family to me, and I love them dearly. And I could not, I mean, almost like it brings tears to my eyes. Like, I could not do what I love to do without them. And I know that. And I know a lot of people that are owners of businesses don't get that. You know, they don't understand that these people that show up to your business, and I've worked for some of them, they don't understand that these people that show up to your business, they're the ones that are making your dream come true. You know, if you don't have them, you are SOL, you know? And so I love my employees. They are like family to me, and they inspire me every day. They tell me, hey, look, you got this. Like, if I'm having a bad day, they know it, because I'm just one of those people that's like, oh, it's just not going right today, you know? And they're like, hey, look, but look at all the other days this went right. You know, you can get through this one day. And they're incredible human beings. Like, I could not say enough positive things about them. They make my dreams come true. And I mean, like Patricia right now, she is currently pursuing her own dream of being an actress. And so, you know, it's been nice because I have been through a lot of the struggles of pursuing a dream. And so I feel like I am put in this position that I can help mentor her as she is pursuing her dream. You know, it's hard. It is not easy. And, you know, everybody looks at me now and is like, you're here. It's great. It's phenomenal. But they don't see the 7 years prior where I didn't go to bed, for days on end, And so I feel like it's been amazing to be put in that position to mentor her and say, hey, look, girl, you got it. Like, I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be real uncomfortable sometimes. It's not going to be fun. You're going to cry a lot. But you got it, And, you may not work for me forever. You probably won't, because you're chasing your own dream. And I'm okay with that, How can I help you get there,
Yeah, and everything comes in a season.
Everything does. And it's amazing that I'm in that position now to mentor to my employees. And I can't say enough good things about my employees. They are the rock. They really are. They hold it all together, hold me together, and they are great.
Well, they're a lot of fun too.
They are. We are always, anytime you come in there, somebody's laughing about something, and they're fun, just fun people to be around.
Yeah. They are.
Yes.
Well, we're out of time. I think we probably could have done 2 or 3 shows back to
Probably
back.
so. It's a lot to cover.
Anything that you want to share with everybody? Let's tell everybody where you are, where this storefront is.
Yes, so we're at 136 South Scale Street. So if you're familiar with where the chamber is, take 2 doors to the left and you'll be right there.
It's so bad. It's so bad that it's so close, because it's so good. So
I mean, we try.
Well, I was really excited about the Wednesday, and
Yes.
we make quite a few trips over. It's probably a good thing, because it's my stress relief. So I enjoy having that ability to walk over.
We enjoy seeing y'all come through the door.
Yeah.
We
Well,
really do.
Abby, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the value add to our community. Thank you for being an ambassador and being a strong
Absolutely.
supporter of the chamber and the business community. Had a previous guest talk about like what we do, and until you get involved and inside, you just don't understand.
Yep.
And so I'm so thankful for engaged people like
Yeah,
you that help
absolutely.
us help other businesses.
Absolutely.
So,
That's what it's all about. Businesses helping businesses and people helping people. And I've lived here my whole life, so 24 years, and I want nothing but the best for Reidsville. And if I can be a very small part in that, I don't need recognition for it, but I just want to do it. I just want to help this town flourish, because it's got so much potential, and there are people here with so much talent, and I think we're well on our way to great things.
I think so too.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, that's it for today's news and views. As always, you can find us in the heart of downtown Reidsville at 140 South Scale Street, or online at reidsvillechamber.org and all of our social media channels. All right, folks, that's it for today. Thanks, and stay tuned.